No, and that makes a lot of sense.
They don't build teams around McDonald's, but
I'm happy either way.
Talk to the promotions
Nuggets is a gold thing.
I know, but Nuggets, I don't know. I think there's an opportunity there.
Did you see Uncle Ted right there in the open, by the way? Every morning we've got him. And he was with President Trump last night in Michigan. 2 big speeches by the president. We're going to cover it all this morning. Absolutely. Big 2 hours. The week is going to end with us at the President's Golf Resort, actually in Bedminster, New Jersey. He was kind enough to let us come along. Why don't we just play a little bit of this? Ted Nugent, his home is Michigan. He's got a place in Waco as well. We all know about that. But he loves to hunt in Michigan. He welcomed the president there for this Lincoln Day dinner last night. President got the award Man of the Decade. Because they're just saying, look, here it is, Battleground Michigan. Ted Nugent said he's the greatest president ever. He's the only person who can restore this country to greatness. Let's hear a little bit of what he had to say with the Star Spangled Banner. It was just beautiful. Start heading into 4th of July. This is just incredible. The patriotism expressed by that man. What a beautiful rendition of Star Spangled Banner.
He's amazing. Uncle Ted. He's the best.
Rocking it, Terrance.
No, absolutely. And it's a show. Like, I'm a big fan of reverence during the Star Spangled Banner, but I also appreciate kind of his showmanship. And you saw you kind of saw the smoke come up there. I like it. It's one of those things where you still get the reverence, but you also feel like you're at a concert. You kind of get this show.
Yeah.
It's so genuine because it comes from his heart. It's passion. It's that patriotic passion that bleeds out of Ted Nugent.
Wow. Here you go. You can say the same about President Trump. We're going to get to the other speech from earlier in the weekend at the Faith and Freedom Coalition. It blew the doors off the place in Washington. Absolutely. Crowd was wild. I'm sure you saw it streaming here at RAV. But last night, he did a fundraiser with my friend Mark Zarkin, who's got a great restaurant, Lily's on the Green, there in Michigan outside Detroit, and then went to this Lincoln Day dinner. And it's interesting. Donald Trump, when you talk about showmanship, he also has a way with words, the bluntness, the sharpness, to say everyone's dancing around what's going on with Joe Biden right now.
I'm just going to call it what it is.
He said he's taking bribes from China. That's what's happening. Watch.
This maniacal push for all electric cars is killing the United States, killing Michigan, is a total boon for China, and it's because Biden is being paid off, we just found out yesterday. He's being paid off by China. He's been paid millions and millions of dollars in bribes. They're bribing him. And all of those people, see these people, they don't want to talk about it. I just saw a camera go off right now. They don't want to hear about it, even though it's 100%. The reason that this is happening and the reason that all of these things are taking place with China and there's no retribution is because he's being paid off.
Donald Trump's the only one that has had the chutzpah to say this.
Yeah, the guts to call it out. And the mainstream media is starting to cover this bribe story, Terrance, and we're going to get into that because it makes you wonder whether they're thinking about deep sixing Joe. They realize maybe he cannot beat Donald.
I've been thinking they were going to deep six him since the beginning. I'm waiting for this to happen.
They thought, hey, if we can get him to limp along, literally and figuratively, and beat Trump, it's fine. But if all of a sudden this bribery scandal blows out the way it is, Terrance, there might be rethinking this, both the Democrat Party and the mainstream media. But I repeat myself, since they're probably connected.
And you know what? I'm going to say this. I think that the fact that the Republican-led Congress has really pushed some of these investigations, it's continuing to push some of these investigations, is almost forcing the media's hand. They've got to cover it now to some degree because there's so much more national attention on these issues. And the evidence is out front and center right now. It's not like they can turn a blind eye to it because it's front and center.
Well, and there's so much to cover here. The media angle you're talking about. CNN's ratings have plunged. Fox's have. All of them. But also, James Comer, to your point, Terrance, is saying this week, he's coming out with more bank wire transfers, money that went from various foreign countries into the Biden family. On top of the millions we already know about, guys. How much more is there?
And just to add to that, Kevin McCarthy is also out now saying, look, Merrick Garland, be on guard. I'm coming after you. I'm going to likely seek some sort of impeachment action against you. So there's a lot happening on Capitol Hill right now. And I think because it is so significant and because there's so many power players involved, the media can't turn a blind eye to it. It's just impossible.
Well, it's about time that things are moving along.
Yeah, well, and there were more and more whistleblowers coming out, IRS whistleblowers, multiple. I mean, John Solomon was ahead of the curve on this, but they're all saying that there were more problems that Hunter was using his taxes to write off all these sex clubs and things. And they were rushing at the Justice Department, Merrick Garland, to your point, to get this plea deal before the other tax problems came out. Any one of us messed around on our taxes, we're screwed. We're done. The IRS is coming down on you.
They're hiring 87,000 agents.
Exactly.
Come on.
This is outrageous. All right, we're going to get into all this. Real quick, I want to put this up. Our friend George Colella, Born to Ride 45. Remember we were talking the other day about how Greta Thunberg had basically said we had 5 years and we're done, and that was in 2018. So here he puts this up. 1960s, they said oil will be gone in 10 years, Karen. 1970s, there'll be another ice age in 10 years. 1980s, remember acid rain?
Of course.
1990s, the ozone layer, Al Gore.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be gone in 10 years. 2000, the ice caps will be gone in 10 years. None of that happened, but you know what? We got more taxes. They raised our taxes to pay for all this BS, to fight all this.
That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
Terrance?
Yeah, that's, I hadn't even thought about it in those terms, but it is so true. And you're right. Unfortunately, most of us, I've only been paying taxes on, we won't go there. Actually, government, I pay all my taxes. Let me, be careful. I shouldn't even joke about that. I forgot. I pay all my taxes, government. But no, we all have ended up paying much more in our taxes as a result of all of these kind of things.
No doubt about it. And what about this? Was it a coup attempt, or was it a bunch of bunk in Russia? We're going to get into that as well. And it's interesting because there was that accounting error that the Pentagon talked about last week of about $6 billion and said, we got to send another $6 billion over to Ukraine. And a lot of people were wondering, was that accounting error money going to the CIA and the deep state
Where was it going?
To mess around with Putin and Russia? It was a very interesting timing there, Terrance. But Donald Trump, in that previous speech, we just saw the one in Michigan, but in D.C. over the weekend at the Faith and Freedom Coalition, we were streaming it live. He said, look, what was wrong with peace and prosperity under Donald Trump? That Russia wouldn't dare do what they're doing now. China wouldn't be menacing Taiwan. Look at Donald Trump.
When I was president, the world was stable and calm because America was respected and strong. Now, as we see in Russia and all of these other places, this whole world is on fire. This world is on fire. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. I'll have it done in 24 hours. I say that. And I would do that. That's easy compared to some of the things, but I'd get that done in 24 hours. I know them both. I know them both. As the Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers. See that? I will be your peacemaker. I was your peacemaker.
This was an evangelical Christian audience. He was quoting from the Bible extensively. And remember when the mainstream media said he was going to start wars, and he said, blessed are the peacemakers.
I like it. That's a new and exciting soundbite from Donald Trump.
Terrance?
You guys have talked a lot about his stamina, and I saw that stamina on full display on Saturday. I was here all day covering that for Real America's Voice, and that speech went more than an hour and a half. That stamina, to be able to keep a crowd engaged for that long, to be able to speak for that long, I think really speaks to his stamina. And the things that he said, he's going to be able to stop that. Based on the stamina alone, I believe it.
Well, and he'll do it through rain or sleet or snow like the mailman. He always delivers.
That was a sharp turn. I appreciate that.
Yeah, remember that rally we were at? I forget. Was it in Miami? I can't remember. Remember it was pouring rain.
Yeah, it was in Miami right before the midterm.
And he came out on stage with
His
not a
suit was
care in the world,
wet.
dripping wet, and delivered a speech for, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, which is what he normally does at a rally. Who can do that?
You're right. This time, he was indoors a few days ago at Bedminster, New Jersey. We'll be there Thursday night. Carrie Lake invited us. Make sure you go to mailmanmediamusic.com and download the music. She's got a book coming out this week, her autobiography. She's got a big book party with the president Thursday night. We'll be there covering that. And then Friday morning, the president agreed to let us broadcast from his golf course there in Bedminster. I've never seen anyone do that before, so we're looking forward to that. The president a few days ago was in Bedminster. I want to give you a little look at the golf club and the golf course. And he sent a shout out to the War Room Posse. Steve Bannon, watch.
And we can't let that happen again. The country won't be able to take it. The country won't be able to take it. So I just want to thank everybody. I want to congratulate you all. I may sit around and listen to Steve Bannon because he's really been exceptional, very smart guy. And they went after him, too. They went after him, and we'll always continue to go after him. We have to win in 24. We're going to turn around the country. We were energy independent. Think of it. Gasoline at $1.87. We were independent with energy, and we were soon going to be dominant. And we were getting ready to flip where we were going to make so much money with our liquid gold. So big.
How about that shout out to Bannon in the War Room?
It's a very well-deserved shout out. I hate to make it all about us, but I'm so excited to go there.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be great. Have you been there before?
I have not.
It's beautiful. It's going to be great.
What time is your tea time, Ed?
I don't know yet, but the show's over at 10. Probably about 10:15 on Friday. How about that? Probably 10:20.
I'm not mad at you. In a similar situation, I would do the same thing. So I feel you, brother.
All of this, by the way, is election interference, what's going on with the special counsel. Look at this tweet from Travis and Flint, who's always kind of pulling this together. Special counsel Jack Smith, Karyn, has now requested the trial of Donald Trump be delayed until mid-December of this year. This will force Trump to go on trial right as the primary election season is starting, and he'll be on trial for the entire campaign. Because they say this will last months with different delays and things. And if the trials move to December, it'll more than likely go past the general election, though. So what's interesting is they may outmaneuver themselves, because if it gets past the election, President Trump will be able to get people to vote on the idea that all of this is on the line, number one. But number two, think about New York. There'll be a trial in the primaries as well on those state charges with Stormy Daniels and all that. So he'll be facing two trials in the middle of the Republican primary. And you're going to tell people out there are going to say this is not election
It's also calculated. It's also, it's just transparent.
It's absolutely crazy. Terrance, look at this. While all of this has been playing out with the bribes and whatnot, let's talk over this. Hunter Biden, there was a state dinner with the Indian Prime Minister. This guy's in the middle of a plea bargain. And there's all these cabinet officials. Look
Kamala's taking pictures with people.
Look at this guy just wandering around. Hunter Biden without a care in the world. He's at the state dinner, guys.
Right. It seems like the responsible thing to do as the president, even if that's your son and you know the circumstances, say, look, I'm going to need you to sit this one out, kid. That's just the responsible thing to do. Particularly in light of you just took a plea deal. You basically admitted that you evaded your taxes, and you basically also said, even though the charges won't be filed, that you had a gun charge while you were high. So at this point, I would say, even if you have turned your life around, sit this one out, son. Just the appearance is not a good look for the administration.
Yeah, and then another person was at that state dinner, Merrick Garland, who was mentioned before by Terrance, because of all the corruption of the DOJ. And the day after the state dinner, I didn't want you to miss this, he denies there's been any interference with the Hunter case. Watch.
You said previously you've stayed out of the Hunter Biden investigation. It's been on David Weiss to figure that out. Can you once and for all shed a little light? There seems to be a little confusion on what's going on here.
I'd be happy to. As I said at the outset, Mr. Weiss, who was appointed by President Trump as the U.S. Attorney in Delaware and assigned this matter during the previous administration, would be permitted to continue his investigation and to make a decision to prosecute any way in which he wanted to and in any district in which he wanted to. Mr. Weiss has since sent a letter to the House Judiciary Committee confirming that he had that authority. I don't know how it would be possible for anybody to block him from bringing a prosecution, given that he has this authority.
And he was never told no.
I would say he was given complete authority to make all decisions on his own.
Okay, I don't think anyone believes him. And then after that, guess what happened? Hunter and Joe go to Camp David together. Look at this video. Okay, Joe and then Hunter. And then we're told by Republican Congressman Darrell Issa that they've gotten word in the House that Joe Biden has brought on some criminal lawyer. And he goes to Camp David. Now, why is that significant? Well, Camp David, you fly over there in the mountains of Maryland. It's very secluded. The press can't go there. You can't see which lawyers might be coming in and out, what's going on. So right after this plea bargain, he takes his son to the mountains of Maryland to Camp David.
Of course, they got to craft their new narrative. What's the new narrative? He's got a pretty big backpack there, Hunter. Is he going to disappear into the woods?
What's in the bag, Terrance? I want to know what's in the bag.
I bet it's not a laptop.
What's happening?
Nice one. I like that. Why don't we get to Jesus Calling, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Jesus Calling today. Stay calmly conscious of me today, no matter what. Remember that I go before you as well as with you into the day. Nothing takes me by surprise. I will not allow circumstances to overwhelm you so long as you look to me. I will help you cope with whatever the moment presents. Collaborating with me brings blessings that far outweigh all your troubles. Awareness of my presence contains joy that can endure all eventualities. And this comes from Psalm 28:7. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and I am helped. My heart leaps for joy, and I will give thanks to him in song.
That is a beautiful way to get this week going. Guys, can we jump ahead to 822? I want everyone to hear this. So James Rosen, I used to work with him at Fox. He's a great reporter. He's at Newsmax now. He asked, there you go, he asked the White House spokesman at the podium about these WhatsApp messages that Hunter sent with Joe in the room years ago, telling this Chinese person, pay us, you better pay us, or I'm sending my dad after, and all this. Watch what happens when Kirby's asked about it. Watch.
The House Ways and Means Committee yesterday released documents, their authenticity nowhere challenged. That included a July 2017 WhatsApp message sent by Hunter Biden to Henry Zhao, a Chinese Communist Party official, which stated in its entirety, and I quote, I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father, unquote. So just a couple of questions about this. First, does this not undermine the president's claim during the 2020 campaign and the reaffirmations of that claim by his two press secretaries since then, that he never once discussed his son's overseas business dealings with him?
No, and I'm not going to comment further on this.
We're good.
I'm not. James, let me save you some. Let me save you some breath. If you're going to ask about this, I am not addressing. I know you do more than I'd like you to have. I am not going to address this issue from this podium. I'm just not going to do it.
All right.
I'm not going to do it.
Where was the president on the day?
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
The father's house.
Was the president in the room when his son was shaking this guy down in China for a bribe? Right. And we won't answer this at the podium. Your thoughts?
Well, I like that he asked the detailed question, too, and put so many facts in it, because it really gives you an understanding of what they're trying to avoid. And you can see Kirby's face the entire time. His just grimacing and his forehead all scrunched up.
I chuckled because if you saw at the beginning, the moment he said WhatsApp, you kind of saw his eyes dart to the right, like somebody save me.
I don't want to talk about this.
Oh my God, somebody save me. KJP, come on.
Yeah, at the ends.
He doesn't want to answer the question. Joe Biden doesn't want to debate RFK Jr. Is it because RFK Jr. is lifting weights and taking off his shirt? Have you seen this?
Wow.
The picture you got to see right after this.
Tosses word salads that even cringe the Democrats. Wait.
news break is brought to you by AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens.
Years ago that I would be in the middle of a political movement, I would have said, put down Hunter's crack pipe. Right now.
Put down Hunter's crack pipe, hop on the boat, get ready for the 4th of July. It's coming up. That's Kari Lake and the Truth Bombers, still on top of the Billboard charts. And guess what? We're going to have at least one more song coming out this Thursday at midnight. Friday morning, we'll unveil it on the show.
The chat is popping.
I can't believe how many people are in the live chat.
Over 3,000 right now.
I think people were pent up. There was a lot happening this weekend. They want to hear what we've got to say. They want to hear Terrance. They want to engage with one another, most importantly, real American voices. But while the president had not one but two speeches this weekend that we were streaming live, the Democrats had this massive fundraiser. And I don't know if you saw this, but Joe was there. He said all kinds of crazy stuff. Pelosi dropped by, Crazy Nancy. But she said she couldn't stay long. I wonder why she had to leave.
Why did she stop by? Was it to actually speak, or was it to grab a glass of wine from the bar? Like, why did she stop by?
I thought you normally say it's vodka, so is it wine sometimes?
I don't know. Maybe it's wine this time. I think it's a mixture. I think it's equal opportunity.
There was an open bar at the fundraiser, so that was probably part of it. But then she had to leave. Here's why.
I have to leave as soon as the president finishes because I'm getting on the plane, going to San Francisco. And when I land, it'll be just dark enough for me to flip the switch. Thank you. Just dark enough for me to flip the switch to have the Bay Bridge lit up in gay pride color. It has to be dark enough.
Did she say, did she have a little Freudian slip there, flip the script? Because that's what they do? Is that what she was saying?
I think you're right. She hit the open bar. She wasn't sure about how you flip the switch. She did get the words right.
Yeah.
But she was lighting up the Bay Bridge in Gay Pride.
Yeah. Flipping the script. Making it all about things that don't matter.
Did you see this Gay Pride situation in New York City? Where people were openly saying, we're coming for your kids.
I did. It's disturbing.
I think you sent it to me.
I did.
We're going to have it a little bit later this hour. So they always say, oh, no, this is about adults.
Oh, no, they're saying it out loud.
Now they're saying, no, we're
out
coming
loud.
for your
Screaming
kids.
It in the streets.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a minute. For now, we've got some headlines sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
Terrance, if you want to, make sure Pelosi's coherent, you got to get to her earlier in the fundraiser,
Yeah, or you got to give her, you got to water down some of the spirits. Let's just put it that way. Can't let them be too spirited. All right, before I get myself in trouble, let's get to some actual headlines. As predicted, President Trump's trial on allegations that he fraudulently took and held on to classified government documents likely will not happen as early as August 14th as the trial date that was set by the judge. Instead, Special Counsel Jack Smith, who is heading up the investigation in the prosecution, is now asking that the trial be delayed until December 11th. In a court filing requesting the delay, Smith says the August 14th trial date, quote, would deny counsel for the defendant or the attorney for the government the reasonable time necessary for effective preparation. President Trump's lawyers are waiting to get the necessary security clearances to be able to look at the documents in question and build a proper defense for the 45th president. In the meantime, Mr. Trump has pleaded not guilty to charges that he unlawfully kept national security documents when he left office and that he lied to officials who were trying to get those documents back. Legal experts, including Special Counsel Smith, anticipate that President Trump's lawyers will push to have the trial delayed even beyond that December 11th date. In the meantime, President Trump is fresh off of a busy weekend on the campaign trail. Saturday, he offered up a nearly 2-hour speech during the Faith and Freedom Coalition's Road to Majority conference. He then followed that address up with a stop in the battleground state of Michigan on Sunday. The 45th president was honored as the man of the decade at the Oakland County GOP's Lincoln Day dinner. He used the stage not only to accept his award, but also to lay out his plan if and when he is reelected to the White House.
And I will sign a day one executive order ending automatic citizenship for the children of illegal aliens. They come into our country illegally, they have a child. Congratulations, your child is now a citizen of the United States. To save our economy from Joe Biden's inflation catastrophe, and total economic disaster. I will deliver tax cuts, energy price cuts, and interest rate cuts, the likes of which you have never seen before.
President Trump is looking to rekindle some of the magic that helped him flip Michigan back in 2016 and win the White House. Analysts believe Michigan, along with Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, will likely be key states for Mr. Trump again, both in the Republican presidential primary as well as the general election. Well, it is back to work for folks in Saginaw, Michigan, as that community comes to grips with a mass shooting that left 2 people dead and at least 15 injured. It all happened Saturday at a street party where about 200 people came together to enjoy themselves. Once the shots rang out, the people started running, leading some of the people who were hurt to be hit by cars. Investigators say 5 different guns were fired, but at last check, no arrests have been made. Police say a fight between partygoers resulting in that shooting. The 19-year-old man and a 51-year-old woman were killed in all of this. Those headlines brought to you by AMAC. I'll have more headlines coming your way here in just a little bit, but now let's get you back to #KED. That would be Karyn and Ed.
All right. Good to see you as always. Why don't you stick around? I got a couple of fun things we're going to go through. Campaign season is here, right? Donald Trump, not 1, but 2 speeches this past weekend. The word salad vice president was on the campaign trail, too. Your state you're familiar with there, North Carolina, the Tar Heel state. Started things off a little odd. Watch. It just laughed. It's all so fun.
4 more years. 4 more years for
Maybe
who?
she's laughing at the idea.
She's laughing at the idea.
It's laughable.
Yeah.
You know, back in our day, I think we would call that socially awkward.
Right. But that's everything with her.
Yeah. It really is awkward. And it's almost like that cackle. It makes you feel uncomfortable, almost to the point where you feel like you have to laugh just to kind of appease her. It's like, okay,
Right.
So you're not saying that she's socially awkward.
No, I'm
you're
saying
that she makes other people.
She is socially awkward, and that awkwardness, I think, makes other people uncomfortable.
It's infectious.
Yeah,
it's infectious.
It's infectious.
And so is what's infectious is the energy that Donald Trump radiates when he has these events. So this was the Faith and Freedom Coalition event. We covered it in Nashville, I think, last year. This one was in Washington. David Zier was there. The entire team doing a great job. This was the crowd inside the room with Donald Trump. Just watch.
Were your other candidates treated this way? I don't know. Actually, I saw one who was booed off the stage. We went through 4 great years.
The guy who was booed off the stage was Christie.
Yeah.
But did you see the electricity?
Oh, of course. I mean, it's Donald Trump. That's what you get.
Yeah, that Chris Christie speech, I was here for about 6-7 hours, and we covered all of the presidential speeches. And Chris Christie probably got the worst reception and reaction. There were boos, groans pretty much throughout it. Yeah, it didn't go over well. I don't think it went over quite as well as he thought it might.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's not very charismatic.
There's that. There are a lot of issues. Caitlyn Jenner, by the way, posted this. So she's a contributor at Fox. Can you believe the energy we just showed? She said, I could be fired for saying this. I'm only a contributor, not an actual employee. But I joined this whole deal with Fox and the political battle to battle radical gender ideology for minors, especially in sports, because I speak with more credibility on it than anyone, Caitlyn Jenner writes. But I truly believe Fox News should be covering Trump's speech live. And this was yet another example, Karyn, of Fox snubbing a Trump speech. And you saw the crowd. These were evangelical Christians who should be big part of the Fox base. And they did not cover it. They did not take it live.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I don't know about Bruce Jenner and where Bruce Jenner sits on all of his. Caitlyn Jenner, that's right. I get confused. But it's good to see that he or she is taking a stand against this.
You know, and one of the things we heard from some of the attendees at the Faith and Freedom Coalition's Road to Majority conference over the weekend is that even if they didn't like Trump's character, they liked his policy because they felt his policies spoke to their Christian values, spoke to some of the issues that were important to them as Christians, as evangelicals. And I think that really is what we're seeing across the country, that people see President Trump speaking to the issues that are near and dear to their hearts, and they're not looking at the mean tweets and the other kind of tangential issues. They're looking at what's important, which are
they want substance.
Issues. Exactly.
He's got this Agenda 47. He laid it out in the speech again. He was talking about protecting minors and the rest of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nobody does it like Donald Trump. That's the bottom line. That's why we need him back.
I agree, but there's someone else we got to pay attention to. Did you see RFK Jr. posting this video over the weekend? No wonder why Biden's scared of him. Watch.
I'm not going to touch the bar until I see it stop for more than a second. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Get to 6. Run it. Let's go. Up.
Karen, you mad at it?
Nice. I'm not mad at it.
What about RFK Jr., Terrance?
Now, okay, Karen, I'm sorry.
He's almost 70, I think.
Which part are you not mad at?
He's like 68.
Yeah, he's 68. I think you're right, 68. But Karen, I'm curious, which part are you not mad at? Him without a shirt or the fact that he's able to lift that sort of weight?
The whole thing, the spotter was kind of cute, too. The whole scene was great.
I wasn't expecting that. That's a good question and a great answer. The spotter was cute too. We're going to check that out. Carrie Lake and the Truth Bomb are still on top of the Billboard charts. Go to mailmanmediamusic.com. We'll see her on Thursday night. Maybe we'll see RFK Jr. one of these days in Venice Beach as well. Quick break. We're back with a lot more fun right after.
And the diary's got Creepy Joe in the shower. 81 million votes my ass.
us a little look at Peanut Island there. They've been playing 81 million votes all summer long on the boats.
Yeah, it's great. I love living in Florida. It's the best. Good morning.
You sure you don't want to go out to Venice Beach in California and find the young guy with the backwards baseball cap? People are
I do not, but people are commenting about RFK Jr. And I have to tell you that the ladies definitely think that he's in really great shape for his age.
He is. Now, there was a lot of commentary over the weekend that at 68, he's also been helped by maybe some steroids and other things. I don't know the truth, but the truth is out there, as they say, and we'll see. He's very much against the pharmaceutical industry, so I'd be surprised if he was taking some things, but who
Maybe
knows?
do something natural. Maybe he needs to come out with some sort of a supplement. Maybe he could work with the wellness company.
What a great segue, because the wellness company, a lot of people not feeling 100% coming out of COVID. There's Karyn. Look at what a professional. twc.health/RAV. You're going to get 10% off all these big, beautiful supplements, including Spike Support right there in the middle. You see the one on the left there with Dr. McCullough, who we get to see from time to time. He's a leader there at the wellness company. The Spike Support, first of all, Dr. McCullough's supplement on the left is for your heart and muscles, and that's important. But Spike Support right there in the middle, took it again this morning. Been taking it for over a month. It's really great with your immune system, feeling absolutely terrific. A lot of people are not feeling great coming out of COVID. Some people got the vaccine, maybe pushed into it by a mandate, whether it was a government mandate, a mandate at work, or whatnot. I don't know if you had a chance to take that yet.
I didn't, so
there you
thankfully
go.
you have it.
And while we're talking about that, I would like to mention, I was just messaging with our great friend, Dr. Naomi Wolf, who was not here a few days back, and that's because she was feeling a little bit under the weather. She said she's feeling better, but she does want everyone's prayers, because she said that she got knocked down a little bit more than she expected. Leave it at that and keep it private, but said that she's on the road to recovery and is appreciating everybody's prayers out there.
Big prayers. We miss her.
We do,
miss
and we hope
her.
to see her either this Thursday or the Thursday after, because she's on the road to recovery and feeling better, and we are thinking about her and praying for her always. Terrance, meanwhile, has got some headlines, and we'll bring them back. Good morning again, sir.
Hey, guys, good morning. I want your thoughts and prayers, too. Not to take away from Dr. Wolf. Can I get some thoughts and prayers, too?
You look fine.
Yeah, you look okay. Are you
know, I know you're
What's
like
happening?
You're always like one cough away from like the worst flu in American history. The way you jack it up. Oh, I was helping a friend move over the weekend. I hurt my shoulder. I think I need arthroscopic surgery now. I feel so. It becomes. Terrance has a little bit, and it becomes a lot.
Sometimes.
Well, wait, you're pulling back.
Hence, I'm not just sexy. I'm big sexy.
Big sexy.
That's right.
Right. Everything's a little bit bigger.
Apparently, RFK Jr. is big sexy, if you ask Karyn.
Yeah, right. You're a little more rouge right now after I asked you that
speak
question.
for the audience. I speak for the audience.
She's speaking for real American voices.
There you go. All right, let's get you updated on a couple of quick headlines here. There's a whole lot of talk about impeachment on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. these days, and now House Speaker Kevin McCarthy believes that he has enough evidence to go after Attorney General Merrick Garland. Taking to Twitter, the California Republican responding to the recently released allegations by two IRS whistleblowers, writing in part, "If the whistleblowers' allegations are true, this will be a significant part of a larger impeachment inquiry into Merrick Garland's weaponization of the DOJ." McCarthy also appears to be working towards getting Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss to testify before the House Judiciary Committee about alleged influence from AG Garland and his Justice Department in the investigation and charging decisions related to first son Hunter Biden. The whistleblowers testified that Weiss wanted to charge Hunter Biden but was denied. All eyes will be on the U.S. Supreme Court this week as the justices are expected to release 10 opinions over the next several days before taking their summer break. Among the more anticipated rulings are decisions on the use of race in college admissions. The cases against Harvard University and the University of North Carolina could impact affirmative action practices overall. Another anticipated ruling from the High Court is expected to decide the balance between gay rights and religious rights. At the center of the case is a Christian graphic artist who wants to design wedding websites but objects to making sites for same-sex couples. President Biden is also keeping an eye on the Supreme Court as a decision on his student loan forgiveness program will be handed down this week. Despite opposition from Republicans, the president is looking to cancel tens of thousands of dollars in student loans and Pell Grants. The justices are deciding whether the plan can continue or if college graduates will have to pay what they owe. Russia and its president, Vladimir Putin, are trying to create a sense of normalcy this morning after what's being called a 24-hour coup attempt led by Russian mercenary Yevgeny Prigozhin. Russia's defense minister has been talking about the war in Ukraine with Russian troops this morning on the heels of Prigozhin's mercenaries trying to remove top Russian officials and march on Moscow over the weekend. It appears the planned coup, which was called off, will end with no penalties for those involved. In fact, Prigozhin is now in Belarus, apparently under the protection of Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. He said that he began to march on Moscow in hopes of ousting Russia's defense minister and the Russian army's top general, and in order to, quote, restore justice. We'll, of course, continue to cover that developing story throughout the week as well. But now, let's get you back to Ed and Karyn.
You know, I see Trixie in the mix, by the way, at our live chat saying RFK is just eye candy, Karyn. Trump is the man. So when we see the president, I may have to mention to him your fascination with RFK.
No, wait. Are we going to? We're going to make comparisons here. We're going to make comparisons. We can't do that.
In great shape.
I mean, I said he looked good lifting the weights. I didn't say that there was any comparison to Donald Trump.
It sounds like you're backtracking here a little, Karyn. It sounds like you got a little defensive. You're kind of backtracking. Like you know, girl, own it. Oh, girl, you know I own it. Own it, girlfriend. Say, yeah, you look good. And the guy with the baseball cap,
he did look good.
Too.
He looked good too, right? I didn't say they didn't look good. I just said we weren't making a comparison to Donald Trump. We weren't doing that.
That's right. And then spotter with the backwards baseball cap's not running for president, as far as I know. Anyway, let's move forward. We mentioned this before, Donald Trump. This was one of the great parts of the speech that you were covering. I believe it was Saturday night. Faith and Freedom Coalition, Road to the Majority. So he actually read out the WhatsApp messages that were being sent from Hunter to this Chinese guy with Joe Biden allegedly in the room, which the White House won't admit whether he was there or not, to scare the Chinese that we're going to do something to you if you don't pay us the bribes, basically. Donald Trump, watch.
Democrats used to love whistleblowers. They don't like the whistleblowers now. Revealed that Crooked Joe sat in a room while his son Hunter messaged a Chinese Communist Party official and said to this Chinese party official, I quote, I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. This is Cash he's talking about. Yeah. Tell the director, and it doesn't get reported in the newspapers, tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand. And now means right now. It means tonight. You believe this? I didn't know he was that tough. And if I get a call or a text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me, my father, right next to me, Pop, hi Pop, and every person he knows, you will regret not following my direction. Now, can you imagine the newspapers not reporting this? Not a word of it in any of them, mainstream. I'm sitting here waiting for the call, he said, with my father. I'm sitting here with my father waiting for the call. In other words, send us money. Within 10 days, the Bidens got $5.1 million from China for absolutely no reason. They got $5.1 million. In fact, they've taken tens of millions of dollars from China. And that's probably why maybe he's not complaining about the fact that they're building military bases in Cuba. Maybe that's the reason.
Nobody else has the guts to just like read those messages out loud and just say it.
Yeah.
And then $5 million comes in after this pressure.
Yeah. Because they would all be afraid of the Bidens. Donald Trump's not scared. That's the difference. He's not scared of the deep state.
And, you know, it's beneficial from a campaign perspective because you can lay out the evidence that's been presented now against the current president and how there are allegations that seem to be solid that he is corrupted. Not just corrupt, but corrupted.
Corrupted.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah. And they have something on Biden. That's what we've known all along. And here we're seeing it finally.
And then he has something on other people when they speak out against him. But Donald Trump's not afraid of that.
He's not. He's willing to call it out. CNN, by the way, let's just play some of this. Over the weekend, you're going to wonder what's going on with the mainstream media. Colin Rugg was tracking it. That CNN was making this pivot all of a sudden. And so is the mainstream media saying we got to throw Joe overboard? NBC did stuff on the whistleblowers. CBS, they were all of a sudden turning on Biden. Let's just play a little of this clip.
Here's what Gary Shapley, who is the supervisor, the IRS supervisor, who came forward. This is what he says. I am alleging with evidence that the DOJ provided preferential treatment, slow-walked the investigation, did nothing to avoid obvious obvious conflicts of interest in this investigation. Of course, this means that Congress is going to spend more time investigating what exactly happened behind the scenes at the Justice Department and at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware.
Hey, Evan, one of the things yesterday, as I was kind of following this throughout the course of the day, some of the messages that were released, that were made public, or the allegations of certain messages, undoubtedly draw your eye and make you ask questions. There's a couple ways to look at
it, Karyn, which is they're turning on the Bidens all of a sudden because they realize, boy, he can't beat Trump with all of this hanging on his head. On the other hand, are they building up that Hunter's the fall guy? Look how bad.
Are they going to twist to blaming the FBI, or are they going to twist to blaming the system? Because he's talking about the slow walking, and I'm reading between the lines and saying, where's that going to go?
Fair question, Terrance.
There's culpability all the way around. There are serious questions that need to be asked of President Biden. He needs to be investigated. Hunter Biden needs to be investigated even more, and likely, based on the evidence that we've seen so far, it seems reasonable that there would be more charges against him. And more importantly, the DOJ, the FBI, so a number of these three-letter agencies, there need to be some investigations going on there, probably some charges filed, and heads probably need to roll. I think it's all-encompassing.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Are you resting on something right now?
Hello, Karyn. How are you, Karyn? You're looking marvelous, darling.
Oh, big sexy. Sexy.
You know what's
Bring
funny? Is Falcon Rain is in the chat saying, I'll take brains over bronze any day. But Karyn will take bronze over brains. We'll take a quick break. We're back. 81 million votes. And we're going to tell you about the drag show in New York that went haywire right after this.
81 million votes my ass. Hey, 81 million votes my ass. Welcome on.
That I would be in the middle of a political movement, I would have said, put down Hunter's crack pipe. Right now.
Put down Hunter's crack pipe and pick up Terrance's barbell. How about that? What a morning here on American Sunrise.
For sure. It's been a crazy morning. It's Monday.
Terrance, I heard you laughing. Ravbod1 said, just like that in the live chat, we forgot about RFK Jr. I think because people who saw your Your rippling muscles.
Yes, you know, I
Yes.
mean, I almost
It's
ripped
coming
the
through your suit.
I almost ripped my suit there, you know, because my muscles bulge so much. You know, fortunately, it's a good material here.
That's good.
Yeah, big sexy problems.
You're not buying that, Ed? That's all you got? Is that's good? You're not buying that?
Which part? The muscle part, or that it's an expensive suit?
The fact that I almost ripped my suit, you're not buying that?
Well, you know what? The chat's been calling for shirtless Terrance.
There we go.
I mean,
Maybe next
I
hour.
know we're probably not going to actually do that on the show, but it is a topic of conversation in the chat right now.
I've actually considered it. I must admit, Karen, I considered it. It crossed my mind for a moment.
That's where we draw. That's where we draw the line.
All right.
It's time to get to Stay Awake, Not Woke. This is simply the best coffee, and it's a way to get away from those big bulging muscles and talk about some great coffee, a great agenda, the anti-woke agenda there. No burnt soy and liberal tears like you get at Starbucks.
Oh, a caffeine pick-me-up if you want to go work out.
That's right. If you want to go work out, you have a little coffee, beardvet.com. Use that promo code RAV. You'll get 10% off. Let's get serious about something because we talked about this before. This went viral over the weekend. I mean, there were it seemed like multiple pride parades going on in New York City and various cities. They want June to be Pride Month. I see Ralph and Chuck in our live chat saying, take it back. It should be American Pride Month. Enough of this, because this is not bashing people who are gay. It is the fact that at this particular one in New York, it went viral because they were flat out chanting, "We are coming for your children." This is not about consenting adults. This is not about, adult. When you see these all-age drag shows that we talk about all the time, here's what was going on. Listen to this chant. We'll talk about it. The chant was, "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children."
It's unbelievable, and this is happening in New York City. This is happening all over the country.
Yeah, I mean, you probably saw. I didn't even want to put it in the show. There was in Minnesota. I don't know if you saw this one. There's a guy in his underwear gyrating in front of children. I mean, it's just sort of, why even put that on?
Right. And again, it comes down to decency. There are a few people who argue that if that's your lifestyle, you have the right to live it however you choose to. You have the right to assemble. But again, when you start pushing that agenda on young people, when you start, in this case in New York, blatantly saying that we're coming for your children in public, it rises to concerns about decency. It rises to concerns, as a lot of people say, about grooming and just what's right. Live your life, but leave the kids away. Leave the kids out.
And we were blacking out. Did you see we were blacking out, naked breasts and whatnot, because there are children at these events and there are adults who are half naked.
And regardless whether they're children, it's about decency. Like in public, there's certain ways that one should behave and carry him or herself. And being half naked in public, whether they're children around or adults, it's just not decent. It's not right.
But you have an administration right now that says they're not even our children. Children don't even belong to parents anymore. They, in the mind of the administration, they belong to the government.
And Jill Biden went down, the first lady, I think it was a Nashville Pride Parade, and was saying these parades are great. We love it. Keep it going. Joe's on board with this. It's nuts. Axios, by the way, just a quick note. Coors Light embracing the Denver Pride Parade despite potential backlash, Karen. Gotta wonder whether Coors Light is the next Bud Light.
Maybe. Could be. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We shall see. A couple Getter posts to get some real American voices. This is Wiener Dad, Robert Miller, Ed, Karyn, Terrance. I want to thank the three of you for your unashamed devotion to sharing Christian content. The young boy reciting the books of the Bible and Jesus brought tears. It's no wonder Rav is becoming a force for American values and truth in journalism. You put God as part of your broadcast. God honors those who honor him. That's very nice, and we appreciate that because we're sharing what our viewers want.
That is absolutely beautiful.
Isn't that amazing?
It really is. I love, I was noticing in the chat this morning, too, that somebody was ill, and there were prayers in the chat for this person, and I was just thinking about this community that we've built and how beautiful it is.
Yeah, and people reach out to one another. I want to put this one out there, too, and let you guys think about it. We could talk tomorrow. Diane Rapp, I have an idea for a new segment. How about you play some Mailman Media music, and we all just have fun? Only a minute or so. Watch the chat explode with fun. Take a break from all the noise of the day. Everyone would love it.
Ooh.
Call it the Mailman Media Minute. So I'll throw that out there.
I love this. I said to you today, I thought that the chat was blowing up because of the energy of the music on the ins and outs. I think it brings an energy to the show.
Maybe.
How about the Mailman Media Dance Party? Have like a minute.
That's even better.
Wow.
We're going to take a quick break. I'm inviting Jim Hoff to that dance party. He's live right after this.
He's got Creepy Joe in the shower. 81 million votes my ass.
But to us, the big star would be the real American voices.
Jesus!
All right, yes. Lost his line there.
That's okay.
A very big thank you to Ed Henry and Karyn Turk and Terrance Bates on America's Sunrise. Watch America's Sunrise.
Patriots, welcome back to this Mailman Media Dance Party.
Live from West Palm Beach.
There you go.
And live from Denver, Colorado, where we're getting ready to cut a rug and bust a move. So good to see each and every one of you on this Monday morning. Ed and Karyn, good
That's
morning.
right. I saw Jim Hoff dancing a moment ago. He'll be coming up from the Gateway Pundit.
Mm-hmm.
We saw you lifting weights last hour. We saw Karyn very excited about RFK Jr. and his campaign.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm excited about the campaign. I was impressed by his stamina and age and the fact that he could lift those weights. I thought it was impressive.
His stamina and age, huh? Okay.
There
Sounds
we go.
like cold
All right.
words for something, Karyn. I'm just going to say that.
All right, let's push forward with a prayer, shall we? Ultra prayer threw this out there because, you know, it's interesting. Last hour we ended with a viewer saying, boy, I love the Christian content. Ultra prayer, Morning Patriots, God be the glory. Father God, we speak Isaiah 30:18 over 45, his family, the president, his team, his associates, his supporters who have steadfast faith in you, your truth, to bring real justice that will end completely these evil persecutions from those abusing power, set out to destroy for not just political revenge, but hold on to power, to force inability for them to defend themselves against their injustices. This is really important stuff. All the injustices are against those who fight against their false gods of wicked ideologies, Karyn, who are willing to do anything to silence them, but you, O Lord, will keep your promises, for you are the God of justice, will bring victory over their adversaries in the name, power, and authority of Christ Jesus.
That's beautiful.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
And Donald Trump talked about it this weekend. You said you were covering Saturday's speech. And he kept saying, you know, they're coming after me, and we've heard before at the rallies, they're really coming after you, I'm in the middle. But he added to that, Terrance, because he was saying, these indictments, they're coming after you, and I'm wearing it as a badge of honor. They're coming after me.
And he also kind of alluded to the fact that we're kind of in a situation in a spiritual battle right now in our country. Obviously, this was a spiritual crowd. This was a more religious crowd. But he talked somewhat about the fact that we're kind of in this spiritual battle nationally right now, and that this is, to some degree, a battle of good and evil and darkness against light.
Yeah, for sure. It really is. And we all see it and we all feel it.
We see it when we hear the word salad, Vice President. Throw out another word salad. Try to make sense of this.
But let's always take a moment to also see what we have achieved thus far, while we clearly see the moment that we are presently in. So we have achieved a lot.
While we see the moment we are presently in.
Okay.
I love it. No one knows what she's talking about. Meanwhile, did you see Joe Biden? So he's giving that big speech. I think this was that fundraiser I was talking about last hour where Pelosi was hitting the open bar and then had to leave early to go light up the Bay Bridge out there in San Francisco. Biden coughs into his hand and then goes out to the crowd and basically is hugging and kissing everybody. Watch. How about a kiss? Let me lean in. Let me touch you.
Oof. Yeah, I have the heebie-jeebies.
And germs for you. Germs for you. How about you? Germs for you, too.
How many months did they make us lock down, the masks, everything else, because you couldn't get close to anybody, and now he coughs in his hand, and gosh knows where he's going. Unbelievable to see that play out. Meanwhile, we played last hour Donald Trump reading out these WhatsApp messages from Hunter Biden to his Chinese person that he was trying to shake down for what they ended up getting $5 million. So here's Jean-Pierre at the White House podium being asked about these WhatsApp messages and the bribe money. And are you going to get some answers? You're going to ask the president about it. Watch.
Have you spoken to the president about this? Have you asked him whether he was there with his son on July 30th?
This is not a conversation that I've had with the president. Again, I would refer you to the White House counsel.
Do you plan to have that conversation with the president?
No.
Did the president speak with the attorney general at all?
I cannot say if the president had a conversation with the attorney general last night. What I can refer you to is the White House counsel's office as it relates to the allegations. They've already addressed this. This is something for them to deal with. I refer you to the Department of Justice on anything else if you don't want to speak to the White House counsel's office.
They haven't said anything about this. James Rosen asked John Kirby about it. We played that clip last hour. He walks away. Nobody answers any questions about this. And this is just one of many bribes.
Because they're already exposed. We have all the evidence. What are they going to say?
And the White House counsel's office isn't going to say much beyond we're dealing with it or anything like that. You know, it's the standard line because, of course, they wouldn't want to put anything out there that potentially could impact the case against President Biden. So you're not going to really get any answers. Like, we know this. Having covered enough court cases and enough administrations, not necessarily presidential, but enough administrations that are dealing with some sort of legal issue, their lawyers aren't going to say much. It's going to be a very vanilla and a very generic statement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they just avoid everything, this administration.
They avoid it. The big speech from President Trump, two of them over the weekend, one in Michigan last night, the night before in D.C. at the Faith and Freedom Coalition. We're going to see the president Thursday. He'll be at Carrie Lake's book party at Bedminster, New Jersey. We've been invited for that. And then we'll be broadcasting live from Trump National Bedminster in New Jersey on Friday morning.
I'm so excited. I'm awesome. Really elated over this.
And we'll see a lot of the president's team there. We'll bring some folks on. But what I thought was interesting is you remember that rally we were at last year in North Carolina, and when Mark Robinson, the lieutenant governor, now running for governor, got up there, I said, this should be Donald Trump's vice president.
You did.
A lot of people talk about Tim Scott and others. Carrie Lake, by the way, who's a possibility as well. Mark Robinson, you saw this, Terrance, came out and gave a fiery endorsement of Trump. He's getting on board early, and he's making it clear, I'll be the loyal number 2 if you want. Watch.
America needs a fighter indeed. This nation needs a fighter. Someone who is willing to go onto the world stage, walk in boldly, strongly, waving the American flag, saying the American Americans are here, and we are in charge again, and we're going to lead this world into the future with freedom. That's what America needs, and that is why on this stage today I am endorsing Donald J. Trump as the President of the United States of America in 2024. Because now, doggone it, is the time for warriors to stand up and get it done.
Look how fiery this man is. He was a factory worker, blue-collar worker.
So good. Can you imagine the two of them on a ticket together? Talk about energy.
Yeah.
And that speech, it hit all the points in terms of substance, but there was personality in the speech. It really was a masterpiece in my estimation. And I think there's something folksy about that North Carolina accent. It makes him so much more of a common man. He's someone that you can relate to, I think, because of the accent.
He was a worker. He's a blue-collar guy.
Absolutely.
He's got the charisma, really just to get that crowd. They're standing up, they're cheering. That's what they do for Donald Trump. Very few people can do that. Standing ovation. We showed that earlier at the beginning of the show. Mark Robinson, same thing.
One of the things I found funny, I'm sorry, just really quick, I found funny, they obviously had on the teleprompter, wrap up your speech, your time is up. And he was like, yeah, I see my time is up. I still have something to say. And he kind of kept going for several more minutes. It was quite a moment, but it again spoke to the urgency that he felt in getting that message across.
Speaking for the people.
No doubt about it. What about Speaker McCarthy now saying, I want us to get this on the record, and we'll talk about it more later this week, I'm sure. He's telling reporters now he supports moving forward with expunging both Trump impeachments, including the January 6th historic Schiff censure and President Trump vindication all in 1 week. That's what DC Drano is saying. So if you wipe out the Ukraine impeachment, you wipe out the January 6th impeachment, and you censor Schiff, which they did last week, LFG. I think you know what that stands for, Karyn. This is showing that maybe, and Terrance made this point last hour about Comer and the investigations of Biden, that this House Republican majority, imperfect, but has been bringing the heat.
Bringing the heat, but the LFG too. It's like, move it along. Let's get it done. Let's go.
Yeah, with something else in there. Terrance, quick thought.
And one of the things recently, MTG has been kind of criticized for some of her positions, but she is at the forefront. She and Congresswoman Stefanik, they are at the forefront of expunging these Trump indictments. So you got to give credit where credit is due.
They have the votes to do it.
Exactly.
It'd be amazing if they knocked him out. So we'll get into that throughout the week, I'm sure. I know you've got some other headlines, and then we'll bring in Jim Hoft, the Gateway Pundit, after that.
Well, guys, more of your tax money is up for grabs today as President Biden is expected to lay out his plan for a $42 billion investment in expanding broadband internet access to all Americans across the country. The administration estimates about 8.5 million locations in the United States don't have access to broadband connections. Internet providers like Verizon, Comcast, and AT&T reportedly have been reluctant to provide access to rural and low population areas because the investments are so expensive and the cost per subscriber just isn't as profitable. Under today's Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program, each state will find out how much of the $42 billion it will get to expand broadband internet access. The U.S. Coast Guard is now heading up the investigation into what caused the Titan submersible to implode, killing all 5 people on board. Canada's Transportation Safety Board is also conducting its own investigation into the catastrophe. In the meantime, serious questions are now being asked about unregulated underwater expeditions like the one that the Titan was on. The submarine was diving to the wreckage site of the Titanic when it imploded. In a statement about the Coast Guard investigation, the chief investigator saying, quote, "My primary goal is to prevent a similar occurrence by making the necessary recommendations to enhance the safety of the maritime domain worldwide." All of this comes amid reports that the U.S. Navy knew the submarine had exploded, but that information was withheld for days until the wreckage itself was found. Well, in this era of vaccines, cancer research is now shifting from treating various types of cancer to vaccinating against them. The National Cancer Institute says cancer vaccines are still experimental, but scientists have recently been working on treatment specifically for breast and lung cancers. This year, there have also been advances in vaccines that fight melanoma, skin cancer, and, of course, pancreatic cancer. The cancer vaccines being developed, like other immunotherapies, boost the immune system to find and kill cancer. cancer cells. Some of the newer vaccine ideas are incorporating mRNA, which of course was initially developed for cancer, but most recently used in COVID-19 vaccines. While we're still early on in the process, drug makers Moderna and Merck are reportedly working together on developing a personalized mRNA vaccine for patients with melanoma. More headlines coming your way after the break, but now let's get you back to Ed and Karyn.
All right, Terrance, appreciate it. As always, let's bring in Jim Hopp from the Gateway Pundit. You see either he or his brother every single Monday morning at this time. Jim, good morning. Welcome back.
Morning.
Good morning, guys. Good to be with you.
Great to be with you. So many scoops at the Gateway Pundit, particularly I encourage everybody, on these Biden bribes and all the rest of it, but a lot of other stories as well. Let's put this one up. Topless drag queens and trans activists, quote, "We're here, we're queer, and we're coming after your children." We played that clip a few moments ago at a New York City Pride March. Jim, you've talked to me off the air about your personal life, which is none of our business, but you've said, look, I'm gay, but I don't believe we should be indoctrinating children, and that this kind of stuff really bothers you. Talk about why.
Guys, I have been to different bars, drag shows. It was never anything that I preferred. I think probably half of the gay population doesn't think that drag shows are their thing. So it's really surprising to me to see that they're pushing this so much into the popular culture. Every time I've been to a drag show, all they talk about is sex, something that you never want in front of children. So again, why are they pushing this in front of, in our schools, in our libraries, at churches? Why is this happening? I think we need to ask that question. I saw in this march in New York City, it's interesting. What I saw was a lot of lesbians, some trans activists, but very radical lesbian groups, it looked like, topless. They were marching down the street, chanting, the vile things they were saying. And then they're dancing topless in, I think it was Washington Square, where they were dancing topless. So, again, I don't think this connects to most Americans. I think people want decency. I think people want people to be treated fairly, but I don't think they want stuff shoved in their face that's indecent and vulgar. And that's just where I stand.
Great.
Yeah, I think the gay community is being grossly misrepresented by these parades and other things, because like you said, it only is a small segment of the gay community that partakes in these kind of things. But then you see all these other people jumping on board. You see people that aren't involved in that lifestyle or that community at all that follow this agenda and this narrative. Yeah. Why do you think that is? Why do people get sucked into that aren't even a part of that community? Why is that compelling, Jim?
Yeah, I think the left just wants so desperately, to pretend like they really support gay rights. But if you'll notice, even Karyn, yesterday when Robert Kennedy Jr. put up his beefcake videos of him doing pump and iron, a lot of the comments underneath were gay smears, like he must be homosexual or something, and so the left is the first ones to start throwing out these these slurs whenever they get an opportunity. So I don't know why they have this fascination with drag shows again. Every time I've been to one, it's been very sexualized, and it's not my cup of tea. I think there's, half the gay population doesn't really, it's not their thing, but the mass leftist movement right now thinks that we all should see these and have these, in our schools or something. It's really bizarre to me because it just doesn't belong there.
Yeah, the children that are there, it's absolutely outrageous. Let's move forward. I want to talk about Fox News. We played or showed a tweet last hour where Caitlyn Jenner was calling them out for not covering the Trump speech that we were streaming live on Saturday. Now you have this, that the GOP has picked Trump hater Bret Baier to moderate the first Republican primary debate. That's going to be in Milwaukee in late August, as you see right there. Pretty contentious interview with Donald Trump, for example, a few days back there.
Absolutely. And I think having Bret Baier as moderator, they might as well go to MSNBC and have them do the debate, because Donald Trump will be treated the same way. We know that. We've seen it. We're not stupid. We know how the mainstream media treats Donald Trump, and now we know that there's a lot of personalities at Fox News who treat Trump the same way. So this is a setup for Trump. It's going to be a complete gang up on Trump moment, and we already know that. So this is Fox News again, guys. Ed, you did such a a terrific job as White House correspondent when you were there, but this isn't this isn't the same Fox News. This is they're almost proud of the fact that they're becoming anti-Trump. That's my thought. They don't apologize for it. They're all on in on the agenda, and they're not fooling us. Again, they think they might be, but they're not. And we're the largest part of the conservative movement at this moment, and they're not fooling a single person by putting Bret Baier and Martha McCallum up there as moderators.
Well, and they need Donald Trump, or else they're going to have no content. So what viewers are going to watch
ratings.
Fox without Donald Trump? They're going to be lost without him. So of course.
But they've been thumbing their nose, not just at Trump, but I would argue the Trump voter, which is maybe why we've seen the ratings come down.
Right.
One more quick one we'll put up, because we've been talking about the IRS whistleblowers with Biden, but there's also the 87,000 agents being hired that Karyn mentioned last hour. You have an exclusive independent filmmaker threatened by the IRS, refused to provide video footage to the January 6th committee or DOJ. What's going on? Why is the IRS threatening this person?
Right. So this is Jason Rink. I believe he's in Arizona. I actually know Jason. I've spoken with him, and he refused to turn over some footage from January 6th over to the January 6th special committee, Liz Cheney's committee, that sham committee, and he refused to do it so that they could, clip it and chop it and use what they wanted. So after months of him denying their requests, all of a sudden he gets a demand from the IRS that he pay $80,000 and $40,000 in late payments. So he's wondering, how is this happening? He's never been audited before. Is there a correlation? I would say, yes, definitely there is. And, shame on Republicans who think that all of these 87,000 new IRS agents aren't going to be coming for us. We know they are. You have to be stupid not to think, that this is what they're going to do. They're going to use them as an army for the left, just like they're using the FBI and DOJ against the conservatives right now. Army against the right. That's what we have to look forward to. Shame on Republicans.
Yeah, and if you're Hunter Biden and you're convicted of tax crimes, you get a sweet plea deal.
Yeah, a little plea deal. And McCarthy, we've said some good things about the fight from Comer and others, and revealing some of the Biden bribes and the rest of it. But McCarthy, talked a good game at the beginning about stopping the funding of these 87,000 new IRS agents, and that budget debacle from a few weeks ago. They let the money go on, Karyn, and they're not doing enough to stop the IRS. So I think you make a good point there, Jim. And check out the Gateway Pundit for all your scoops. And guess what? We got a double dose, 2 scoops this week. Joe Hoff will be here tomorrow with a brand new book. So we got 2 Hoffs. 2 Hoffs are better than 1.
All right. Double dipping.
There you go. Jim, appreciate you as always. We'll take a quick break. We're back with Time to Drain the Swamp, and we're going to go live to Wall Street and dig into your economic news. 81 million votes on the way out. Go to mailmanmediamusic.com.
81 million votes my ass. groceries. I can't afford your gas. It's bad inflation across the nation. 81 million votes my ass.
Cannot wait to see Kari Lake Thursday night. She not only has the #1 song in America, she's got a brand new book with Winning Team Publishing. Go to 45books.com. This is going to be hot. She's got a big following around the country, around the world. I mean, she went to CPAC Hungary. She gave speeches in the UK a couple of months back. This is somebody who's on maybe the short list for Donald Trump's running mate. We'll see her on Thursday night. The president will be at her book party there at Bedminster, New Jersey, and then we're going to be broadcasting the show, American Sunrise, live from Trump National Bedminster. I'm not sure anyone's ever done that before.
Right, incredible that Kari Lake couldn't win that election, based on everything that's been going on. I mean, she seems to have a lot of popularity there.
Do you think there were some other forces at work? But we saw Hakuna Matata. I was busy this weekend, so I didn't get to see that boat, but I'm going to go looking for it today on my walk. In the meantime, it's time to drain the swamp. Yeah, SeaofMud.com. This is the sponsor. They've got wonderful apparel. Check it out there. Trader Joe's, now more than ever. They sold out the entire country. And we've got so many I identify as non-binary, which I think is pretty good when you think about that drag show in New York City we were just talking about. And all of the nonsense with the genders and the rest of it. Make sure you support this great patriotic company, SeaofMud.com. Promo code RAV1776.
Yep, nice soft t-shirt.
There you go. You're going to take care of that. I appreciate that. In the meantime, we talk about the swamp. The New York Post had an incredible piece over the weekend. Michael Goodwin had a great column saying, score half a point for Donald Trump. He's not really on board with Trump anymore, so he only said half a point, but he says it turns out he was on to something with his claim that the 2020 election was rigged, though maybe not in the way he thinks. The dirty deed maybe did not happen in the offices in Arizona or Georgia, where Republicans supposedly were banished while Democrats counted those duffel bags full of late arriving votes. Michael Goodwin's point, and if you go check this out online, Karen, is he was saying that if you listen to these IRS whistleblowers now, what they're saying is the FBI had the Hunter laptop from hell back to 2019. They knew it had crimes in there. And they worked, the FBI, with big tech, we now know Zuckerberg and others, to suppress that from the American people. New York Post was knocked off Twitter when they were reporting on all of that. But now the IRS whistleblowers are going deeper and saying they knew that Hunter Biden had broken the law, not paid his taxes, and that maybe the 10% for the big guy. We don't know whether Joe Biden paid all his taxes either. And they suppressed all that. So I think Michael Goodwin's point was the 2020 election was rigged. Maybe not in the way that Donald Trump always thought. We can debate that about the fraud. But that the deep state, whatever you want to call it, FBI, IRS, big tech.
All the three-letter agencies, all of them.
And MSM, as in mainstream media, not an agency, but they were in on it as well. What are your thoughts? Because I think as we piece this together, the Trump case for a rigged election is becoming more real, not just on the fraud question we were just talking about with Kari Lake, but the way that information was suppressed in the 2020 campaign.
I don't know. I want to look at right now as we head into 2024. You can't go back. 2020's there. Maybe God had a plan. Maybe we had to see just how corrupt everything was. Maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe we needed to see it. Maybe we needed to feel it. Maybe we needed to feel the Bidenflation in order to make radical change in 2024.
And maybe now that all this is spilling out with the bribes and the rest of it, that will impact how people vote in 2024. Is that part of what you're saying about God having a plan?
I hope so. But then again, if we don't fix the election problem, where are we at?
Yeah, no doubt about it. We talked about these two big speeches from Donald Trump. They were streaming all weekend long here at Real America's Voice. You didn't see it on Fox. That's for sure. Here he is at the Faith and Freedom Coalition saying that these indictments, each one that comes in, maybe more coming from Georgia, maybe coming over January 6th. He's got 2 indictments already. He said he wears it as a badge of honor. Watch.
The menacing specter of left-wing repression has been growing steadily for years and years. It's been growing, and we were stopping it very powerfully for 4 years, and now it's picked up at a level that nobody's ever seen before. First, they slandered Americans of faith as haters and bigots. Then they corrupted the media. They installed radical left judges to subvert our Constitution. They used the IRS to target conservatives. They spied on our campaign, and specifically, they spied on my campaign, and we caught them. They're terrible. Nobody would have thought. Could you imagine if it was the other way? Could you imagine if, let's say, I spied? Let's not use Biden. Let's use Obama. Let's say, Mike Huckabee, that you and I spied on Obama's campaign. Do you think it would have been fine? You know, this would be away for a long time, wouldn't we, huh? They tried to take down a presidency with hoaxes and witch hunts. They're still trying, but we wouldn't let them. And now Joe Biden has weaponized law enforcement to interfere in our elections, the greatest abuse of power that I've seen and that most of you have seen in the history of our country. It's a hoax. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of courage.
Badge of courage. What are your thoughts?
I think he should. I think he's showing all of us exactly how bad it is.
Absolutely. And as you said, maybe God had a plan to show us not just Bidenflation, but the corruption of the deep state as well. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
There you go. I think I see a lot of people in control room saying the same. We're going to turn to the economic news, sponsored by
the Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
And, you know, Terrance, I'm thinking about these mature American citizens like RFK Jr. Apparently, you know, they're all the rage. They're lifting the weights. They're taking their shirt off. And
yeah, it's a new era.
Terrance here for it.
Apparently, the new 68 is the new 50 these days. And
that's right. AMAC should call RFK Jr.
There you go. You know, it's got some people smiling and blushing.
What about that guy with the backwards baseball cap, the spotter?
Oh, are we going to go there? Can we show the video so people in the chat know what we're talking about? Because maybe they didn't catch up with the first hour.
Yeah.
I think we should show it. I should defend myself.
Do you want to show the video for the people in the chat or for you?
Or for her, yeah. All right, let's take a look at Wall Street. We'll get that. We'll rack it up. You got the opening bell coming up there, and it's been read in the pre-market action. Now the bell is rung. I think it was happening while we were talking. Dow markets are open. Dow's up about 10 points. S&P down 4, NASDAQ down about 20. So a slow start. We'll see how it plays out. Terrance, I know you have some economic news.
Well, Ed, to your point about the markets now being open, investors are hoping for a week of rebounding after Wall Street wrapped up its first losing week in 6 weeks on Friday. The S&P 500 dropped nearly an entire percent. The Dow fell 0.6%, and the NASDAQ lost a full percent. Last week's losses last week's losses round out a rally of more than 20% since mid-October. That included the S&P 500 breaking its longest weekly winning streak since 2021. In the meantime, investors are still jittery about the prospect of more interest rate hikes. Despite skipping a rate increase at its June meeting, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is warning that at least a couple of more rate hikes are coming before the end of this year. Congress once again allowed itself to be pushed into appeasing the administration and raising the debt ceiling for the 79th time, which of course paved the way for continued reckless spending and further devaluation of the U.S. dollar. As our national debt continues to skyrocket, how are you protecting your savings? Times like these are a great reminder to diversify a portion of your savings into gold, and you can do so with the help of the Birch Gold Group. Here's the easiest way to do it. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. You don't have to pay a penny out of pocket either. As BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, band together against the U.S. dollar, more and more central banks are now diversifying. You know what? They're actually buying gold. So follow their lead and text the word America to the number 989898 for your free information kit on gold. There's no obligation, just information. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied customers, the Birch Gold Group can help you protect your savings as well. You can do so simply by texting the word America to the number 989898. Do it now, take action today, and help invest in gold. That's going to do it for your economic headlines. Now, let's get you back to another gold-plated team. We'll be Karyn and Ed.
Wait, gold-plated? Is that a shot?
Gold-plated.
It's
not a shot.
Gold-plated.
Yeah. Not a shot. You know, just gold-plated.
Like
just say gold.
Solid gold.
Why not stop at gold?
I'm sorry?
Why not just stop at gold? What's this gold-plated stuff?
Okay, I'm sorry. Instead of a platinum team. Feel better?
Karyn, your birthday's coming up. We'll get you some costume jewelry.
I would like some gold, please.
Well, I mean, what? Gold plated? What are you thinking?
What's going on?
It sounded better than just gold, but okay, I get the point. I get your point.
Solid gold.
Solid gold. Do you remember Solid? That's what I was thinking. There was a dance show.
Dionne Warwick?
Yes, Dionne Warwick, Solid Gold Dancers. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, is there a new?
Oh, the Mailman Media segment, the music segment, Solid Gold.
Solid Gold? Who owns that name? Maybe Zen Master can check
I don't
into
know.
that. That
I
could
think
be
the chat
something
should
big.
weigh in on what that segment should be named.
Well, people are calling for dance parties now, and we will have a brand new song this Friday. So maybe there'll be a dance party on Friday while we're at Bedminster.
What kind of genre will this song be? Rock, rap, techno?
It'll be a little bit of rap, a little bit of Joe Biden's problems, a little bit of scandals that are exploding, and it could be kind of we might meet the moment.
I love it. We should put it on Donald Trump's iPad while we're there so he can DJ it while he's eating dinner.
DJT with the DJ. There you go, Donald J. Trump. There's 81 million votes. I can hear it already. Get your engines ready. We've got Natalia Middlestadt with a 60-second sunrise out of Washington. And then an old friend. I mean, like a really old friend. His name is Michael Loftus. He's looking skinny. What's going on? We'll find out. Maybe he and RFK Jr. are lifting weights.
Failed to build back better. Your middle finger to middle class. Across the nation, 81 million votes my ass.
Good morning, Patriots. Welcome back to this American Sunrise. 81 million votes still atop the Billboard charts. Go to mailmanmediamusic.com. People asking for dance parties.
Yeah.
Maybe Solid Gold will do like a remake.
Maybe. This is pretty fantastic. People talking about sending in videos of them dancing to the songs, the Mailman Media songs.
If you do that, we'll be posting them on the RAV website, on the Mailman Media. I promise
Put them
you.
all over the place.
So tag us on Truth Social and Getter. And we will start doing that immediately.
Little lip syncing with the songs.
You're running away with this. There's all kinds of things we can do, but we got to keep it moving because we got Michael Loftus coming up. We're gonna have some more fun with RFK Jr. and the weightlifting in a minute. First, the 60-second sunrise. Yeah, this is where we check in with Just the News, justthenews.com. Natalia Middlestack, good morning and welcome back. It looks like Texas may be finally getting serious about the border. There's been pressure on Governor Abbott for not doing enough. We know the Biden administration is doing virtually nothing. What's happening?
Yeah, so the Texas Border Security Mission, Operation Lone Star, which launched more than 2 years ago, has led to the apprehension of nearly 400,000 illegal immigrants. And since April of last year, Texas has sent over 500 buses of foreign nationals to 6 sanctuary cities, with a total of more than 21,000 people.
Wow. Maybe they're finally cracking down. Governor Abbott has been called a rhino by a lot of Republicans who didn't think he was doing enough. Make sure you check out that scoop and all kinds of others at Just the News, justthenews.com. Natalia, appreciate it. We'll see you later this week, I hope. In the meantime, let's get to a segment we call 2024 is Getting Saucy. July is coming up. We're going to have a very special show for you on the 4th of July. We hope you're out there. A lot of great patriots, and you're supporting Red State Barbecue, redstatebbq.com. That promo code RAV10, get the discount. And, you know, the bird rub, it's not just the sauces, it's the rubs they have for the various proteins. And I know David Carroll, and they're all American there in Lexington, Kentucky. They're not going to deal with that genetically modified chicken, right? This is the bird rub on the real chicken, the real poultry, right?
This is really
American
good on other
chicken.
things. This is also good on other things. I put this on like pasta. I put it on different things. It's almost like it has like almost like sort of like a, I don't know, like a tangy, almost like Mexican infusion kind of flavor.
Oh.
And it's good. It's delicious.
Mexican pasta.
Yeah, it was good. I did like a little like cheddar cheese and a little, it was
Look
good.
at you going around the world
like
with the cooking. That's very good. So check out redstatebbq.com and use that promo code right now and make sure you're ready for the 4th of July and beyond. We got a big summer.
We do.
There we are. Let's bring in our friend Michael Loftus. Terrance is going to join as well. We've got so much to cover with him. What's the deal? You're looking skinny. Not that you were big before, but you're looking healthy. And are you lifting weights with RFK? Go ahead.
Yes, that's what I've been doing. I've been on a workout regimen with the Kennedys, which you have to be very careful which Kennedy you sign up with, because sometimes you just get drunk on the beach. But it's just great to be here with America's favorite 24-karat gold-plated morning host.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wasn't that a shot? Wasn't that like
It was.
Right? Gold-plated.
It was the plated that took it over the edge.
Yeah, we'll let Terrance defend himself in a second, but I want to put this up. Let's put up G8 first. Benny Johnson said, who would you take health advice from, Karyn? You know, the big gut there on Bill Gates, who wants to tell us all what to do. And then the ripped bodice there of RFK Jr., which you seemed very excited about last time.
I was not that excited. Let's be clear. I was excited. I wasn't.
Look at this video.
Okay,
now,
so this is where I wanted. The spotter is cute. Look at his arms. He's cute. He's young. He's cute. He's in great shape. I mean, RFK looks good too, but I think together it's a nice little picture that's painted.
Michael, your reaction?
Well, can we talk about what RFK is wearing? Like, who's like, I'm going to go lifting. I think I'm just going to wear my blue jeans and no shirt. Where did he learn fitness? Is that like a prison? That seems like prison style to me. That seems like a guy who's like, I'm getting ready for cell block D. I just want to make sure I fit in with the fellas. Now, granted, he is in amazing shape. He's in such good shape. You got Arnold Schwarzenegger watching that going, damn, I got to get jacked. I got to get back in the gym. RFK's in better shape than me.
That's a pretty good Arnold impersonation.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Thank you. I've
That
been
was pretty
working
good.
on it. I've been doing my thing. I'm gold-plated.
Terrance, he said gold-plated a few times. It's your turn. You're going to have to respond.
You know, I can't respond. Unfortunately, I got nothing. You got me. I said gold-plated was not meant as a shot. But you know, when you're cheap, gold-plated goes well. You know, I'm not into full price on stuff. I'm a cheapo. Actually, I don't like to call it cheap. I like to call it frugal. So.
There you go. Inexpensive.
Well, you know what?
Penny-wise.
Inexpensive. If you're trying to save pennies, you're going to want to follow Michael Lindell. Like if you want to get pillows, there's always deep discounts. And I follow Mike Loftus very closely on social media. And it looks like maybe Mike Lindell has a new product. Let's watch.
I'm Mike Lindell, CEO and inventor of MyPillow. You know, cancel culture's just been relentless. These woke yokels will not let up. Introducing the Patriot Pillow. It's the same patented fill, made in America. You're gonna get a great night's sleep, but this one's different. It's got a tiny speaker and a microchip. And when you put this under a big, fat, lazy liberal's head, using the power of hypnosis and repetition, it's gonna turn that dirty, hippie, liberal, pinko, fascist, commie son of a gun into a patriot overnight. It works. It's amazing. It's technology I've invented myself. The Patriot Pillow. It works. But just in case it doesn't work, introducing Mike Lindell Freedom Boots. These boots, once you tie them onto the foot of a liberal, they can't get them off. They're pre-programmed to walk their lazy butts across the border, never to return. The Freedom Boots, the Patriot Pillow, order now and you can get both. Use promo code GET OUT and stay out. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, and you're gonna save 20%. Thank you, and God bless.
Karyn was crying throughout that. Tell us what made you think it was pretty good.
It's very good.
I'd say everybody loves Mike Lindell, including all of us at that show tonight. And I'm just like, he takes so many hits. Everybody goes at him. So we wanted to do a skit where we're like, boy, you better hope Mike Lindell never gets mad. Like, if he ever got mad, what would he invent? You know, in the Patriot Pillow, the Freedom Boots, you'll walk across the border, never to return.
It was a really good impression. I think that's actually what Mike Lindell would say if he invented that.
Oh, it'd be great. It would be great. Use promo code Don't Let the Door Hit You where the good Lord split you.
I like
We've done a lot of shows, and I haven't seen that skit in a while, and it's always nice when I'm delighted with me. I feel gold-plated, too. I'm hilarious.
You know what?
That's going to be
I'll give you platinum for that one, for that impression, a platinum impression, plus the whole idea of a hypnotic pillow that will hypnotize a liberal overnight. That's hilarious. Just the idea alone is funny.
Thank you. We're having a lot of fun at that show tonight. A new show just came out Saturday. People can go to thatshowtonight.com. And yes, we had a little fun with the sub too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, all those people died, so I don't know what you were making fun of, but you know that's
the first I heard of that. That's the first I heard of that. Well, it happened suddenly, and I think one of the people on board might have had a court date to testify against Hillary Clinton. So we're looking into that.
Now there's a joke. All right, I'll take that. I got something better for you because I was thinking this, and you've got this comedic genius. So Rachel Maddow a couple weeks ago, when Donald Trump came out after the latest arraignment, and they didn't want to carry his remarks at Bedminster. And I remember Rachel Maddow came on MS. I saw this clip later, and she said, "We will not show lies. We only speak the truth here at MSNBC." And I'm thinking, weren't they lying about Russia collusion for like 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Well, Michael Loftus heard it too. Watch.
Hi, I'm Greg Kendrick, the Vice President of Programming here at MSNBC. Now, viewership is down, like really down. We're talking WNBA levels. Now, that's disappointing, so we decided to do something about it. We asked you, what do you want from your news? And you answered loud and clear, honesty. Well, we're not going to do that. But here's what we can do. We can rename our shows to more accurately reflect what it is you're going to see. So the same hosts, the same programs, but with new names, honest names that let you know what you're watching on MSNBC. So say goodbye to Morning Joe and say hello to long-winded white guy and his frigid commie wife.
It's not that bad.
It's really kind of bad.
Is it really? You can tell.
And no more Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. But we will have, can that guy read?
Here's the president meeting with a ROKU.
And stay tuned for Lies, 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 as told by a pompous lesbian communist in love with the sound of her own voice.
It's not for you. You are not doing this for yourself.
Karyn, what do you think?
That was great. I love it, Michael.
Michael, last word from you, my friend.
Oh, well, if we would love it if the media started telling the truth, especially MSNBC, CNN. Stop with the agenda. Just for the love of God, try to be honest. They're not gold-plated. They're not even close to gold-plated.
I was going to ask you, if you wanted to be more honest, what would you call this instead of American Sunrise?
Just Americans. Beautiful Americans.
All
I like that. All day, every day.
I like it.
Look at that's pretty good, man. Drop the mic. You're so satisfied with yourself. I love the Morning Joe one about the pompous white guy.
Yeah.
What was it? The frigid commie
wife.
Commie pickle.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was good.
Yeah.
Check out thatshowtonight.com. Michael, we hope we'll do this more often. I know you travel a lot. I know you're earning a living out there, but come on back.
Well, let's do it. I'm available.
Let's do it.
I'm setting my watch.
Michael Loftus, gold-plated or not, I hope that watch is solid gold. We'll take a quick break. We're back. Time to spill some tea, sponsored by the Artillery Tea Company right after this.
1 million votes my ass.
Yeah, let's get ready for this.
Let's get ready. Let's do it.
What do you think?
I think it's fantastic.
Getting better
Look
and
at him go. Look at him go. Look at the spotter cheering him on.
Look at that
That's
spotter.
awesome. Look
The
at the
backwards
spotter.
baseball cap. Who knew?
He's got nice arms.
That's amazing.
He has nice arms. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. I've been accused of not letting you talk. I always let you talk.
Yeah, you do.
All
Here
right.
I am.
All right, good.
On the show, talking.
Time to spill some tea. How about that? Yeah, This is simply the best tea, Artillery Tea Co. Make sure you check them out online, artilleryteaco.com. They give back some of their profits to first responders and military charities. Pretty soon they'll be donating tea to spotters everywhere
I
as
was
well.
going to say, he looks like he might be like a firefighter or a police officer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe.
Is that, no, it's like a ladder on the truck kind of thing. You're looking at these great cops and firefighters from New Jersey where you grew up. Great patriots. And you know what's great about this is that these tea bags are all natural, not like you'll see with other tea companies. You get 2 cups of tea for each tea bag, number one. But number two, with summer here, 4th of July coming up, it's pretty good iced tea as well, not just hot tea.
Sure is.
There it is. Talking about spilling some tea and some political gossip, Donald Trump, in both of these speeches over the weekend, the president was all over Joe Biden about this bribery scandal and saying it's worse than Watergate. Watch.
Joe Biden is a totally compromised president because they're bribing him. They're paying him off. They know all the money they've given, and it's far greater than anyone has been able to really understand. And I'll tell you what, Jim Jordan and Jamie Comer and their group has done an unbelievable job, but it's far greater than anybody knows. This is just some of the things. It's tens of millions of dollars, and that's just some of it that's been found. And again, the papers aren't reporting, and it's not only China, though. It's many other countries, including Ukraine. So we're giving hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine. I keep saying, why isn't Europe paying a like amount? So we're in for 160 billion, and Europe is in for 15 billion. And nobody thinks that's right or fair, and it affects them more than it affects us. These countries know every penny the Biden crime family has taken in. The countries know. Ukraine knows. China knows. They all know. There are many countries. So he can't even or ever go against them. He can't go against them because they'll reveal the corruption, because they know exactly. They'll say, well, we sent the check here. We sent the check there. We sent. So he has to be very nice to China, has to be very nice to Ukraine. And a huge success will be when the New York Times and the Washington Post and others put it on their front page, what's really happening here, because this is truly 100 times bigger than Watergate. This is a much bigger story than Watergate. That's why Biden doesn't mind that China has opened up these military installations and in the process of building a tremendous amount in Cuba. It's only 90 miles off our coast. He's basically said it's okay. He's not doing anything. He's not even saying anything. He's not talking about it.
You know, Karyn, it's interesting. You also, this one's for you, because you're always saying, where are the other whistleblowers?
Where are the whistleblowers?
You know, and there have been some. And I think with the IRS, we're seeing more and more of it that is pushing this bribery story. But Donald Trump made a call for that as well. Let's watch that quick.
Very respected IRS whistleblower. Used to be very much. You remember when the Democrats used to love whistleblowers? They don't like the whistleblowers now. Revealed that Crooked Joe sat in a room while his son Hunter messaged a Chinese Communist Party official and said to this Chinese Party official, I quote, I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. This is cash he's talking about. Yeah. Tell the director, and it doesn't get reported in the newspapers, tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand. And now means right now. It means tonight. You believe this? I didn't know he was that tough. And if I get a call or a text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me, my father, right next to me, Pop, hi Pop, and every person he knows, you will regret not following my direction. Now, can you imagine the newspapers not reporting this? Not a word.
Let's bring in Terrance as well. Terrance, he's calling it out like only Donald Trump can.
Absolutely. There's that New York straight upness, that New York just bravado, and I'm just going to tell it like it is. And the information is out there. The evidence appears to be out there. Now somebody needs to follow up on it.
Yeah, we need it.
He's a great storyteller. He paints the picture. He gives you good details. Nobody better.
He's laying it out with these speeches. The rallies are coming, and he's going to be in full campaign mode. Let's get to Sunny Side Up. So a man man decided to put a ball on top of his phone to record his dog enjoying the simple pleasures of life. You know what? It just captured some amazing video and leads us to say, don't worry, be happy. Look at this. He put the ball on the phone. Look how excited that dog is.
I love
The
this.
simple joy. Don't forget to just enjoy those simple pleasures in life, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I mean, it could be a dog chasing a ball, or it could be somebody chasing RFK Jr. in his spotter. We'll see you tomorrow.